Hey Ramblers, Man Mountain here to take you through your Cardiff City preview. Following on from the recent defeats, we're here trying to lift your mood, trying to get you in the mood for the game on Friday, and hopefully looking forward to a Good Friday on Good Friday. Tea time kickoff 5:30 at Beautiful Downtown Bramall Lane. And we're here to look at the Cardiff City team to see what we're up against on Friday. So Cardiff arrive at Bramall Lane in 22nd position. There's two teams below them in Luton and Plymouth, who we know a little bit about, certainly Plymouth after our recent defeat. They arrive on 42 points, which is obviously less than half of the points that Sheffield United have acquired this season. They've won 9 games, drawn 15 games and lost 18, scoring just 45 goals and conceding 66. So not the worst defence in the division, that belongs to Plymouth, who've just done a job on us, who've conceded 82. So what do any of these things mean moving into the game? I don't know really. I think it's that time of year where Sheffield United are scratching around for some form and Cardiff are fighting for their lives. They are in a real tricky predicament, still sat in the relegation zone as we speak. Just 1 point behind Derby, 3 points behind Hull, 4 off Pompey, 5 off Stoke and 6 off Oxford in 17th position. So they've got absolutely everything to play for, and you can guarantee they are going to be doing their best to stop Sheffield United from being able to play, trying to spoil, I'd say, the party. It's not much of a party at the minute, but certainly trying to get those points. They need them desperately, probably more than we do at this point, I'd say, for their future in the division. They've got 3 games remaining after Friday's game. Oxford at home, which is a blockbuster for the teams down there, as Oxford will be looking to win, which may secure their safety in the division, which would be a hell of an achievement for them. They've then got to play West Brom at home as well, and then they've got to travel to Norwich. So 2 very, very difficult games to finish on at the end of the season. I think they'll be hoping Norwich are on the beach by then with nothing left to play for, but they are going to be bang up for this game. They'll be watching what's happened in the previous 3 matches, games that Sheffield United fans, management, supporters, players would have all expected for us to pick up some points in those games, and that hasn't materialised. Puts the pressure back on the players, who I think we're looking for a reaction to take us back into these potential playoffs with some kind of momentum and cohesion, because it just hasn't been there in recent games. So let's have a look at Cardiff's last 5 games. They've been very competitive in those games. They lost narrowly 1-0 at home to Stoke in their last outing. They've drawn 2-2 away at Preston, drawn 0-0 with QPR, they've drawn with Sheffield Wednesday, and they beat Blackburn. So they've drawn 3, lost 1 and won 1 in the last 5 games. And they've also had narrow defeats in March, losing 2-1 to both Burnley and Sunderland. So no pushovers. They're not getting blown away by anybody. They are very, very competitive. Sheffield United are going to have to be back to somewhere near their best to get the 3 points in this one. So taking a look at the Cardiff City team, what are we going to be up against? Well, there's a lot of rotation in their first 11. So I'll go through some of the players that may start. They actually played with a 3-5-2 in the recent defeat to Stoke. Ethan Horvath in goal, because Jack Alnwick's been injured. So Horvath, who is a decent goalkeeper at this level. They've got Perry and G as part of that back 3. He's got 9 yellows. Could be a discipline thing there. Could be someone who we could run at. He plays on the right side of the 3 in the last game. Will Fish at centre half and Jesper Dolland in the left hand side of the 3. They've got a few players out that I think are probably going to be the biggest earners. I think they've probably spent some money on some players who they haven't really got the full benefit of this season, in Aaron Ramsey, who we know is an experienced Welsh international ex-Arsenal player, obviously high calibre player. If they could get him fit all season, I'm sure he makes a big difference for them. They've also had El Ghazi, formerly of Aston Villa. He's out injured as well. They've also had Chris Willock, who they haven't really seen the return on investment. I'd imagine those three of the top earners at the club. He's only scored 2 goals this season and has obviously been playing at a higher level previously, and he's been out of the team. I think they've had a little bit shortchanged on some of their big hitters. It leaves them with a little bit of a problem, obviously, with being in the position that they're currently in. Been a little bit unlucky with injuries, but their team does possess other names that we may be familiar with. Callum O'Dowda played for them on the left in the last game. We know about him. Will Alves, who's been on loan from Leicester City this season, he's had a good season for them. Callum Chambers, ex-Arsenal player, lots of calibre, but he's been playing centre mid. I think he's formerly been used at centre half and right back in his career. Alex Robertson, who plays in centre mid for them, he's got 3 goals, 3 assists this season, so he's been a source of some creativity. And Kian Ashford, who played on the right hand side, and a familiar face up front in Callum Robinson. He's having a really good season, 12 goals, 1 assist this season, so he's their main threat at the top of the pitch. They've also got Yusuf Salic, who scored 5 goals and 1 assist. He's only had 10 starts and a few appearances off the bench. So they've got lots and lots of players that can come in. Omar Risa does like to rotate his team. Ruben Colville, he's been their highest rated player this season, and he plays in a centre mid position. Joe Rawls, who's also experienced at the level. So I think they've had a tricky time of injury. I don't know what the 11's going to be. It has changed an awful lot over the last few games, so it could be anything really. But there was quite a few well-known names and faces there in that side. We know about Callum Robinson. Well, we know what he brings to the table, Callum Robinson. He's got pace, he's quite wiry, quick, and he's up and down. I think he's one of those players that on one day, again, he looked really good for us. I remember he was on our Premier League journey with us and played for us in the Premier League. I remember him doing a good job against Chelsea in the Premier League when we were there. He'll want to come back and put on a good show for the supporters. I don't think there's any hard feelings in him leaving. I think we sort of instigated him going and sort of pushed him away rather than him trying to walk away. But we're hopeful that we can put in a performance and get the result we need in this game. Let's have a look at the Sheffield United team. So I've seen Dave the Nose's team, and my team will be slightly different for this game, but I do agree with him on a couple of points. Obviously, Michael Cooper starts in goal. I don't think he's been at his very best recently, but it's kind of symptomatic of what's happening in front of him. It's hard to take confidence when the guys in front of you aren't really doing their jobs, and I think Cooper's been slightly off it, along with a few of our big hitters in this team, the guys that we come to hang our hat on and rely on for performance after performance. So what we're saying about this team, well, I'd be bringing in a few players from the bench for this one. Femi Siriki, I think, should be playing at right back. I agree with Dave that I think he offers us a lot of attacking threat. I think Clark does offer us attacking threat. He'll be looking to gain fitness, having played over an hour in his first game back for us. I think he's the preferred one from Wilder, but I just feel like he might need a rest, and Siriki has done really, really well for us at times going forward. These are a side that are going to sit in to an extent. I think Siriki offers us a little bit more going forward, and I'm hopeful that we can use him correctly. Anil Ahmedhodzic in at centre half with the big discussion point, Jack Robinson. I think Robinson, time is time. I think if we're going to go into the playoffs, I'd like to see Rob Holding get a start and start building up his match fitness. Again, I've said this before. I thought that Rob Holding would be taking this spot at centre half, and it hasn't really happened that way. Again, it's down to opinions. I think Robinson's been struggling for form. I think his temperament's been a little bit questionable in recent games, certainly against Millwall, where I felt he was a little bit physically bullied, which doesn't usually happen with Robinson. And he looks like he needs a rest to me, and Rob Holding's the man for me to come in and build up that fitness, maybe replace him after 60-70 minutes if he needs to be. But for me, I'd be looking at building up those fitness levels for Holding, because I think he could be a key component of our success in the playoffs if that's what's going to happen. Harrison Burrows, left back, still for me the first choice in that position. I think he's just lacking a little bit of confidence. We forget how young Burrows is sometimes. He needs the senior pros around him to help him out and talk him through games. This is a step up for him in terms of the level, the number of games that Harrison Burrows has had to play this year. We expected McCallum to provide a little bit more competition. I don't think he's quite done that for him. I'd be looking for Burrows to start this game. He needs to play his way back into form, and that left peg, we know, has the quality to deliver when needed. In the centre, I think Vinny, who's been, again, he's got injured and has been off his best for a little bit now. We need a performance from him, and we need him rousing the crowd, for the crowd to get behind him. I think he thrives off that. I think he's better, obviously, when we're winning. I think a lot of players are, but certainly with Vinny, he needs to get in there, put a few tackles in, do the things that have made him such an important part of this team. Sidney Peck, who hopefully he's resting up this week, because I think he's become really important for our team. We've talked about rotating him in the past when he looks tired. He needs to play this game because we just really need to get back on track. Now, I disagree with Dave at the top of the pitch. I still think Cannon is playing his way into fitness. I don't know about playing two up top. I just feel like it might leave us a little bit with a lack of width. If they were to do what Dave was talking about in terms of playing Cannon and Campbell together with O'Hare in the 10 and Heyman dropping deeper, we'd almost have to play Chowdhury for me, because I think he'd slot in between Holding and Ahmedhodzic to make a 3, so that the two wide players, so in Siriki and Burrows, would need to bomb on. Personally, I think he'll go with Raksaki, who has proven this season he can grab a goal even when he's not playing particularly well. O'Hare, Hamer, I agree, and Campbell have been the difference makers for us this year, and I think it's those players that need to pull us out of the slump that we're in at present time. Certainly that cohesion has been part of our success in games this season, and I think it's the thing that could pull us out of the mire, as it were. So predictions for the scoreline. Our predictions have been out the window, haven't they, in recent games, certainly as far as the Māori Blades are concerned. We were hoping to be striding on towards the top two and being a part of a real dogfight for that. Unfortunately, it looks like it will be the playoffs for us, unless there's been any major slip-ups. But I have said, again, if we win the next two, we've got to go to Turf Moor, obviously. We can't even think about that as far as I'm concerned. Friday is the priority. One vision on that game, making sure that we are absolutely and well and truly at it. O'Hare has been, I don't know if he's been rested or if he's just been bombed out, but I think he needs to start this game, and I believe that we need to turn in what needs to be a turning point in the season again. We've come back before when we've had disappointing results. When we lost to Hull, I was at that game, a very miserable game. We bounced back. We need to bounce back in this match. I've said recently on the Free Māori Blades that if we can't beat some of the sides that we're losing to at the moment, and if we lose this one as well to Cardiff, is there any point in putting ourselves through another Premier League season when we'd obviously have to work incredibly hard to bridge the gap between the two? I just don't think we're playing well at the moment. What we need to do is we need another Coventry performance, hopefully with some goals, a nice early goal to settle down the ground and to get us going and in the groove, force Cardiff, who need a victory, to come out of themselves and come up the field. I don't know what Cardiff are thinking in terms of their game plan. They'll have been watching the three sides that have beaten us and thinking, can we do the same thing? But also they'll be looking to take anything out of this game would be a positive for them in their hunt for survival. If we score, they've almost got to go for it a little bit, and that could play into our hands. Campbell certainly the guy you want on the counter attack if they do start pushing forward. So yeah, it'll be intriguing to see what Wilder wants to do with his team. I think he needs to call on all his experience and think about what is it we need, and leave that stubborn attitude towards certain players, i.e. Jack Robinson, who I believe has played his way out of this team now, and he needs to make sure that he's making a statement on Friday to give us the confidence to go to Turf Moor and put up a fight. No one's been there and won this season, and if we're going to do that, our best players have to be firing on all cylinders. Whether that means some of them come off, hopefully, fingers crossed, we go 2 or 3 up, and then we can rest some of our big hitters ready for Monday's game, which will be a watch along with myself, Dave and Jimmy. We're just sorting that out at the moment, but we're hopeful that Dave can join us on Jimmy's couch to watch that game. Could be the make or break game of the season. We'll wait and see. But let's not look at that, because I said already, we need to focus on this game, and this game for us has almost become the biggest game of the season now, because if this doesn't go the way we need it to, then I'm afraid the season will be looking fairly bleak going into that playoffs. So Blades, let's get this team back where it needs to be, back in the mindset that we can go and get ourselves promoted this season. We need to all be behind the team. I know it's been difficult. I think Wilder's struggling at the moment, and we all need a bit of a lift. I think as Unitedites, we're used to this. We're used to being down. We've had a really, really good season, and let's not forget that. We're sat in 3rd place. We've got Luton Town looking like they could easily go down. We're not in that position. We've got to get our heads up. We've got to start believing again, because this season is far from over. If we can turn this round in this game, it can be the catalyst, the inspiration that we need to go on and have a really good go at, dare I say, automatics. Probably not now, but if we win this one and then we go to Turf Moor and we surprise everybody, there's nothing to say that we're not still in this race for automatics. The 2 at the top will be feeling the pressure. I know we haven't applied much ourselves in recent games and we've let them off the hook a little bit, but I'm telling you now, if we go and win this game on Friday, I'm convinced that we are still in this battle for automatics. We don't go from being a side that's won all these games this season to being a bad side overnight. We've seen how it can go from being a really strong performance like against Coventry to being a really weak one in the following game, and I'm strongly urging the fans to turn up and just think about it like that. Don't think about how we've thrown it away, because if we do, it transfers to the players. You can see it on the pitch. What we need is to get behind the team, shout like Blades do. When our backs are against the wall, that's when Sheffield United come alive, and I'm hopeful that Friday's going to be the turning point for us in our season when it comes to this promotion battle. So up the Blades, up the Ramble, come on United.
This is the view from the mountain, with a heart so pure it's astounding. Man,